So on this week's show, we talk about Jess King, who's been officially announced as the new Tread instructor.
And I had an opportunity to interview German community member Daniel Lopez-Bonaglia, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, your unofficial resource for everything Peloton. By the community, for the community. Here are your hosts, Mark O'Rourke in the UK and Amanda Siegel in the US.
Welcome to episode 9 of Pelo Buddy TV, and I'm joined by my co-host, Amanda. And Amanda, you've had an amazing week that I want you to tell us all about. Go ahead.
Yes, Mark. Hi, how are you? And it's always so fun to jump on here weekly and to get to do our show. It has been another amazing week for me. I did hit a PB this week, or a personal record, as the Americans like to call it. And I got to 850 rides. So, for me, it's just I love the challenges. I love pushing myself. I've been working really hard. But it was funny because I got a couple messages and people were saying, you were already at 8, at another milestone. And it was my birthday that I had gotten my lovely shout out for 2 weeks ago. But we're putting that behind us. And now we're just focusing on getting to 1,000 by the end of the year. I think that's my goal, Mark. My goal is to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. But it was really fun. I did, of course, LEANNE HAINSBY's 80s ride on Friday, and it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It was great to see community jump on and give me high fives, and that really pushed me. Best part about it, Mark, I made a PB, as I said. And what I loved about that was, as I've told everybody, I've really been struggling with the new bike. The resistance on the new bike is so much harder. And I was frustrated. I was definitely frustrated. But obviously, I'm gaining that momentum back and the strength and made over 300 for a 30-minute ride. So
Whoa.
I'm excited.
Congratulations on 2 counts, the 850 milestone and the PB. Brilliant. And on the new bike.
And on the new bike, so I'm really enjoying it. I have to say, I'm loving the connected, the Apple Watch gym kit function, and that part has really been fantastic. So yeah, it's been an awesome week. It's been an awesome week. But Mark, before we get started with the news, I would like to let everybody watching today, how you can keep up to date with all our content across all of our platforms for every episode, as well as our breaking news items. They are released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button at the bottom right-hand side of the video, and hit the notify button to make sure that you never miss an episode.
Yeah, and don't forget the podcasts as well, guys. So yeah, follow us on a podcast. We're on all platforms and at Pelo Buddy TV. And there's no excuses. You can watch us, or you can listen to us, or you can do both.
Absolutely, Mark. Absolutely. And we're on Facebook and Instagram too. Just search Pelo Buddy and follow us for all the latest news.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
Well, Mark, it's been another really busy week with Peloton. All things Peloton are out there. Probably the most exciting news is that it is now official that Jess King will begin teaching tread classes. We can find on-demand tread classes taught by Jess in the class library. Jess did do her premiere run live on Wednesday night. And here at Pelo Buddy, we were the first to report last month that we had seen some images of Jess on the tread, appearing to be teaching a class. A few days later, we saw an image of a Peloton class in the app labeled Jess King Pre-Run Stretch. At the time, we speculated that she was in the process of recording the classes either as final test runs or as classes to drop on demand to go with the announcement. So we were definitely onto Peloton, and we're all waiting with eager anticipation for the news to drop. Good news for Jess, though. Bike King fans, there is no evidence that she'll stop teaching bike classes. Jess is just adding running on top of her existing bike classes. Jess joins the other instructors, Rob and Arzon, Matt Wilpers and Olivia Amato, who also teach both bike and tread classes. Now, the big question is, will Jess bring her Jess King Experience special series to the tread as well as the bike? What I did find so cool, Mark, though, was that I had seen the instructors. So I believe it was Adrian Williams had jumped on Jess's run. And it was so fun to see the instructors support one another and just show that camaraderie of one another. I find that to be what makes me really excited. And I think the community is that they're members too. And I think that's something that we really have to focus on, is the fact that they're instructors, but they're members too. And I love that. I love how they, push each other, get on there. They're constantly on social media. It's a full-time job for these instructors. It's crazy, right, Mark?
It absolutely is. So we have some new changes to strength classes announced this week. Some big news. Ben Alldis has joined the strength team. Ben, of course, is from the UK, Amanda, and we all love Ben. He's going to be teaching floor-based strength classes. And Ben's still going to be teaching bike classes, which I think is critical for everyone because we all love Ben on the bike. But he's at the moment, there's going to be 6 classes available, but that's going to obviously increase as time goes on. Ben was quoted to say that I love that you show up. That's why I'm so excited to announce I will be joining you on the floor with my own strength classes, from integrating exercises to full body strength. I can't wait to help you conquer limits of your endurance and discover how powerful you really are. Great statement. And I get that, Ben. And I'm looking forward to doing some of the strength classes with Ben going forward. They also announced that the production of the strength classes have moved to the new studios in both London and New York. Germany is also getting strength classes with Eric and Irene, which is going to be great for Germany. And the lengths of classes, Amanda, are going to be increasing to 45 minutes. So all good news.
Yeah, that is good news. I have to tell you, when I saw that Ben was going to be doing strength classes, I was so thrilled, Mark. I adore him. He is fantastic. And what I love about Ben is how he is so engaged in the community. He just... It's amazing. I don't know how they have time to do everything, because, they have thousands and thousands of followers, and he will answer, he will be there, and I think, look, they have to obviously push themselves, and this is a great way for Ben to get out there even more so. But I think folks are really going to enjoy. He is the most committed that I have seen out of the instructors, in that he is there for the community. And you're right. I mean, one of his things that he says is, we show up, and we do. We show up for him because he is so fantastic. So I have to tell you, I am thrilled. I haven't been a big one. For some reason, I just don't find enough time to do my bike rides and to get to do some of the strength. But one of the things that Ben did say, Mark, is that one really has to incorporate both. You really should be doing both the cardio and finding time for the strength training. And together, I think the two, give us an opportunity to gain our strength, to become stronger. So that's really, really exciting and really fun to be a part of. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll have to come back next week and see a challenge, Mark. I give you a challenge. Let's see if you and I can each do 2 of Ben's strength classes in the next week. How about that?
Amanda, it'll be the first time I've done strength. Now, you've got a slight advantage over me in that you can move your screen round.
No excuses, Mark. No excuses. That is your challenge. When we do the show next week,
challenge.
I want to see that each one of us have at least done 2 of Ben's strength classes. Deal?
I accept your challenge. Look, Amanda, I could do with getting a few more muscles and what have you. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Awesome. Let's go for it. We've got a challenge going. Well, you do know, Mark, that there is no motivation like a badge. So we'll have our challenge, but there's no question that seeing those badges pop up on our screen is just fantastic. And Peloton went ahead and created a new badge to try to get members to try out all their new bar classes that were just launched last week. The new challenge is called Raise the Bar. And from September 28th through October 4th, the goal is to take 6 bar classes anytime over the course of those 7 days. Mark, I'm embarrassed to say that I signed up for the challenge, but haven't found the time to do it yet. There's just been so much hype with the bar classes. I definitely want to try them. Maybe another goal I have to set myself for this week. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I won't expect you to take that challenge with me.
Good.
Let's stick with the strength for you and me.
Yeah.
But it is something that I think I'd like to try as well. So the bar classes are definitely something that should be fun. Again, something I've never tried. Heard folks talk about it, girlfriends talk about it. So that definitely could be another challenge we could look into.
One of the things I love about Peloton, Amanda, and there's lots of things, as you well know, but they never stand still, do they? They're always moving and always on the move and adding new features. And this week we've had some new iOS features introduced, and the new app the new addition to the app allows you to see your tags section. Yeah. So you can browse the list of classes your teammates are currently taking. One note of advice, which I think is important that we've picked up in the last few days, is that if you don't see the tag section on the app, make sure that you have the latest version installed. And if you still don't see it, close the app down and reopen it. But I think it's a useful addition, Amanda. I don't know if you've come across it yet, or you're going to have a look at it going forward.
Yeah, I did see that. I haven't really kind of focused on that function yet, but I'm one of those that I kind of stick with my Yes to You crew for right now. I'm a big, as everyone knows, a huge LEANNE HAINSBY supporter and love her rides and tend to do most of her rides. But I love seeing other things, and I do ride with a group of physicians, and we have a tag that we use, and of course Pelo Buddy TV. We do need to make sure that we get more action going with our Pelo Buddy TV tag. I know that Chris Giles had asked for us to jump on his ride. He did a milestone ride this week, and unfortunately it was in the middle of the day and hard for me to jump on, and I think you may have been out of town, Mark, but I definitely think we need to use our Pelo Buddy TV and create a little community around that where we all jump on using that tag too, for sure. Mark, this week also saw the launch of Peloton's latest apparel line across the markets. It's called the Stronger Collection, and has been created in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. As we all know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I've been blessed in my own family not to have had anyone gone through any form of breast cancer, but one of my very close and dear friends did, and she caught it early, thank God, and is 100% okay today. But I love how Peloton continue to embrace all aspects of our community, and breast cancer is such a huge aspect of what so many people have written, and I believe one of the girls we had interviewed back a few weeks ago, Anna, was a breast cancer survivor. So just another example of the community and how everyone comes together. I believe a portion of the sales from each item in the collection will be donated to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Unfortunately, there wasn't too much that was dropped, Mark. And by the time I got online, which I'm sure everyone was thrilled about later in the day, most of the items that I like were already sold out.
I don't believe that. You're always the first, Amanda. I just simply don't believe that.
I'm telling you, I had a really busy day at work that day and didn't jump on until the evening, and everything was gone.
Wow.
But this is the second collection that Peloton has created this month, and I pretty much took stock of everything that was in there for that first collection. So the first full collection, as we all know, went live on September the 2nd. But if you're tired of missing out on new items when they are added to the store, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We're usually able to give people at least a few hours alert for when new merch drops are incoming. So I definitely think if you're following Pelo Buddy on Instagram and Facebook, you will know when something is happening. You just got to make sure that you're jumping on at 10 a.m. when it drops in the UK, in the US, and probably around the same time in the UK. So
you're right, Amanda. And
yeah.
I think what's critical to mention here is, and you've touched on it already, Chris Lewis is really sharp, isn't he? He's really on the ball. So anything that's coming up in the world of Peloton, Chris is generally one of the first to put it onto Pelo Buddy. Pelobuddy.com on the website, and so I fully endorse what you're saying there. For everyone that's watching the episode, always follow us. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, on Facebook, you're subscribing to YouTube, and following Pelobuddy.com.
Exactly, because then you'll know when the merchandise is dropping, and you won't miss out. But that is something that I think Peloton has to really work much harder on, is just having the stock. I think folks get really disappointed when they go on and just aren't able to purchase what they need. I will give folks a little bit of an inside secret. What I'm hearing is, due to COVID, not many people are actually going into the stores. And, the stores get merchandise. When the merchandise drops, the stores get the merchandise too. So a lot of the stores have the merchandise. So while you aren't able to necessarily find it online, there is merchandise in the stores. And it was so lovely. One of my Pelo Buddy friends that I have really become close with through this whole Peloton community was so sweet. There was a sweatshirt I really wanted, and she had mentioned that she was going to go into the store in Austin, Texas, to see if they had it, and said to me, if you want me to buy it for you, I will. And it was just such a lovely offering. She didn't end up going in, and we'll see what happens this weekend. But again, it just shows you how the community come together for one another. So I did want to share that. So Texas, yes or yes, I really appreciate that. And Maggie, you're such a sweetheart. I'm looking forward to having you on the show hopefully soon too. Mark, what else is going on?
So as I was saying, Amanda, Peloton don't stop, do they? Nothing stays the same. Every week there's new announcements, and this week is another new announcement. And they've hired a new chief information officer, and the lady goes by Shobhana Ahluwalia. I've probably pronounced that incorrect, so forgive me. But she will lead the enterprise system and infrastructure services organizations for the new New York offices. Try saying that. Quick. Shobhana was previously the CIO at Uber for 5 years, so very, very qualified lady, and it's not unusual for Peloton to take on somebody so experienced. They seem to get some great staff, Amanda.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, they certainly have hired some top-notch people over the last few months, and we're excited to see where this goes. A big part, as the chief information officer, there's just so much that it, relates to what we're doing and how they really have to be out there. So that's awesome. Good luck. And I believe she goes by Shobs. So good luck, Shobs, on your new position. And that the community all support you and look forward to seeing what wonderful things you're going to be doing for Peloton.
100%.
Yeah. So Mark, Robin Arzon and Gwen O'Reilly, Peloton's head of music, were interviewed by Michelle Ma on the Wall Street Journal's The Future of Everything podcast. And it was a fantastic interview. I did take the time to listen to it. The energy and enthusiasm that Robin exudes is so incredible to watch. She truly is amazing. I look back at her and her journey, having come from the legal world and being a lawyer and probably feeling a little stifled in that position, which she says in the interview, and now moving forward, in her role as as not only a Peloton instructor, but head of VP of planning with the program. Her enthusiasm is contagious. It is unbelievable. What I got from the interview is that the enthusiasm of the instructors is very much there too. And Michelle asked if there were any lessons for those of us who are trying to make a connection online. And Robin answered with the fact that this is a new frontier for all of us. And we cannot fake the fun, right? She went on to say that we need to lead with who we are. And this really resonates for someone like myself, Mark. Those that know me and those that are getting to know me in the community, and certainly on Peloton and Pelo Buddy TV, know that I'm a little extra. and what she said, and it so, my goodness, it so resonated. She said, people in the community have been called too much, extra, passionate, and we need to lead with our superpowers. One just has to find just a few people that believe in us, and that becomes our crew. And honestly, Mark, I can't say this more than what I've already shared, and I will continue to share. It has been, for me, the greatest gift in being able, I know that I have a gift in being able to exude my own sense of passion and extraness and whatever else anyone wants to call me. But I love Peloton. I like everything about it. And I love this community. And to see the instructors acknowledge that and give us kind of the pathway to accept that. It's okay. Because there are so many of us in this 3-point-something million community that's been created who share it. And I've probably said this on the show before. My kids will often say to me, Mom, you're so damn extra. And I'd say, I'm not the only one. There are so many of us, and I'll show them folks on social media that have that enthusiasm that I have. And I love that I'm not the only crazy out there, as you are, and as our Chris's are, and everybody else. But it was lovely to see Robin acknowledge that and kind of give us the okay that this is okay. Gwen went on to say that music is the key to Peloton, and isn't that true? Every ride has music, and that is what drives us to get on the bike. Music that we love, music that we can relate to. She did say that once they had settled the lawsuits, Michelle did bring that up, which I thought was interesting, but she did say that once they had settled the lawsuits and had come to agreements with their publishing partners, it had all taken on a new space. What Michelle had mentioned to her was how these artist rides are continuing to evolve, and we're seeing them more and more. And what I really found what I took out of it, what I found so interesting, is that looking at the artists tend to look at Peloton as their platform, and we're their audiences. Right now, artists don't have that luxury of getting on a stage at Madison Square Gardens and presenting themselves to a fan base of 30,000 people, but they're doing it. They're able to do it on the bike, and Peloton is enabling them to embrace that. So none of us are able to go out to a concert or a show and get to hear our favorite musicians play and sing and do that. And Peloton have given them that platform, and are able to do that right now. She does go on to say how when a member gets on the bike, they are looking to immerse themselves in their favorite artist's music, and that it's really an entire new way to bring those artists to life. So I just thought that was brilliant. She wouldn't share as to who was kind of on the horizon. Michelle threw out that maybe a Beyonce artist series would be a good idea, or Taylor Swift. Maybe that's who Michelle likes. But of course, we wait with anticipation each week to see who the new artists are going to be dropped. And it's interesting because the spectrum has been so vast, right? I've loved... we all love the Prince ride. I love the Celine Dion artist series. You mentioned you loved Gregory Porter. That was someone I'd never even heard of. So it's, there's a little bit of everything for all of us, right?
Yeah. Listen, Gregory Porter is a jazz musician, a great singer. He's awesome. But you just touched upon Taylor Swift. Now, I love Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is probably one of my favorite artists right now. Loving her new album, and I hope that Peloton do a series with Taylor. You know what, Amanda? You talked about enthusiasm and passion, and there's nothing wrong with enthusiasm and passion and being extra, as you put it. I think the Peloton community has lots and lots of characters within that 3 million community, and it's what makes Peloton stand out from the rest. So I never make any apologies for enthusiasm and passion, because it shows people who maybe haven't got the bike or the tread or follow Peloton to inquire about it. If somebody's got a passion for something, they'll look into it and inquire about it. So I think that's fantastic. Talking of the love for Peloton, Peloton have been put up for an award this week, Amanda, which was great news. Peloton have one of 3 finalists for the 2020 AFP Pinnacle Prize winners. It's awarded by the Association for Financial Professionals, Amanda. Yeah, the 3 finalists are Peloton, Alphabet, which is obviously the parent company for Google, that little company, and Draeger, a German company. So Peloton are in good company there. Peloton was nominated because of their efforts of building up the Treasury Department very quickly when it was about to go public end of last year. Interestingly, the Peloton treasurer goes by the name of Dana Laidhold. Again, I hope I've pronounced Dana's surname correctly, but Dana's clearly doing an amazing job at Peloton, and fingers crossed that we win the award, Amanda.
I know, wouldn't that be so exciting? It's just another way for us to kind of check that one off the box, and we can be so excited for Peloton. I mean, we only want them to succeed. And of course, as we see that stock continuing to increase,
yeah.
That edge. So it's been fantastic to see that. And from more Instructor news, Alex Toussaint was interviewed by GQ, and he swears by a morning scream. And only Alex Toussaint can get away with a morning scream. Not quite sure how his neighbors are feeling about that. I'm sure that they're not too happy. He also goes on to say that having a good routine is vital in being giving yourself that advantage of keeping yourself in check and accountable. And he says he has a very strict routine, whether it be from his morning protein shakes to his workouts. And I'm sure living in an apartment in New York was interesting during his live rides from home, because he exudes so much internal passion. It's amazing. And again, another one that engages with his community is just a fantastic instructor from that perspective. But that Alex doesn't care about those screamings in the morning. If you don't like it, too bad. I'm going to scream, right?
Absolutely. We came across an interesting article in Pelo Buddy TV this week, Amanda, and it's from Cycling News. It's a magazine I've not come across myself before, but a great article that we picked up on. And the magazine did a comparison between Zwift and Peloton, and they analysed the differences between the two. They call them the 2 best indoor cycling apps in the market. Zwift costs $14.99 per month, Amanda, whereas Peloton also costs the same. So what were the differences? Well, they actually said the biggest differences was that between the two is that one has a virtual aspect to it, being Zwift. Zwift is a virtual app, whereas Peloton uses real instructors. So big differences between the two. Zwift uses avatars in their app, whereas Peloton use real instructors. And Peloton also has the element of music. as well as human interaction. Swift, the magazine went on to say that Swift has everything going for it as an app. And for serious riders, Amanda, they say that, guys that are riding maybe 50, 80, 100, 150 kilometers a day in some cases, Swift may well be the best app. However, Peloton is more engaging, it says, and you have real life trainers. So two very different apps, Amanda, offering two different packages, very different packages. So it's really hard to do a comparison, I felt. But it was interesting to see what one does and what the other does. Have you come across Swift before, Amanda?
Yeah. I've certainly heard of it. Never, I haven't. I've never been part of that community, but I do have a good friend that is very much part of it, and I'm desperately trying to switch him over to the Peloton platform, and I'm not quite there. I can't understand how I can't get that. My
if anyone can do it, Amanda, you can do it.
It's my goal. It's my goal, Mark. You know that. So from my experience, there are definitely some comparisons, but different. And Mark, to end off the news for this week, birthdays. My favorite celebrated her birthday. Leanne Hainsby had a birthday, and it must be that September thing, right? We spoke last week about how I am birthday obsessed and how my birthday is now behind us and we're moving forward on the counting scale for next year's. But Leanne feels exactly the same way about her birthday. And it was amazing. And I want to share this to see how the community came together. So we all know that Leanne went through some issues a couple months ago with the Peloton member, and there was something that she had posted online, and the sweetheart that she is, the absolute sweetheart that she is, was absolutely crushed about what had happened. The community came together, and we created one of the Leanne sayings is "yes to you." On that bike, she'll go, "yes to you." And it became a catchphrase and something that she would constantly say. So a "yes to you" crew was created by Gareth Jones, who I know you know very well because he's one of your mods on the Puck community. Well, Gareth was very gracious, and he actually invited me to be a moderator on the Yes to You crew. He knew my complete obsession with Leanne and how absolutely fantastic she is. Yeah. And we created this community. It has grown phenomenally over these last few months, and it's been amazing to see. Well, what ended up happening was we put something out to treat, to celebrate and treat Leanne, and we just said it was Leanne's birthday, and if anyone was interested in donating whatever they wanted to donate, they could. Mark, we got over 800 pounds from folks in the community. Amazing. that donated towards this for Leanne, and the moderators and admin put together a gift basket for her. We had a album made with anybody that donated and wanted to send in their picture. They were able to go ahead and do that. And a photo book was created with every single member. And then we sent her all her favorite things. She got her Whispering Angel rosé. She got her chocolates that she loves, her truffle chocolates that she loves, a cute little cushion with Ben and Leanne. She's absolutely obsessed with alpacas. And we had a cushion made for her with Ben and Leanne and two alpacas on it. Yeah. It was just amazing to see how the community came together. Yeah. So happy birthday, Leanne. You too have to put your birthday behind you, and we'll start counting together because we're just 7 days apart. We'll start counting together and make sure that we're able to celebrate together next year.
Well, I was able to pop on the on the ride on Monday, and yeah, it was just incredible. I know we were high fiving one another, Amanda, weren't we? And Gareth Jones, as you mentioned, a lot of the guys in the puck community and Yes Two community, and it was just it was just a special event, wasn't it? And that's such a generous thing for members of the community to come together and raise that amount of money, and I'm sure Leanne appreciates it. She is a sweetheart, as you say, and a very special lady. So yeah, that's a great end to the news for this week, isn't it, Amanda?
Let's get to know another person behind the leaderboard name in Pelo Chats.
On this week's Pelo Chat, I am so thrilled to welcome Daniel Lopez-Bonaglia, all the way from Germany. Daniel started the Peloton Deutschland German unofficial page on Facebook, and we are pleased to include the German community into our show this week. Daniel, are you there?
Hello, Amanda. I am here, all the way from Mainz, Germany. How are you?
Welcome. I am so thrilled to have you on the show. It is so fun to finally incorporate a very growing German population, I understand, correct?
Yes, it has exploded since November. So yeah, we've been exploding with tons of folks getting Pelotons and enjoying the ride and the experience.
That is absolutely phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Well, what I'd love to be able to go ahead and do, Daniel, is let's talk a little bit about you. I want to hear about you, how you clearly don't have a German accent. So tell us about you and how you landed up in Minsk.
So Amanda, I'm a soldier, I'm an athlete, I'm a visionary, and I'm also an entrepreneur. And so I use all those aspects of myself and I put it all together into this Peloton Deutschland unofficial page. Basically, I felt like there was something missing when I arrived here. I had my Peloton that I brought from Washington, D.C. to Germany, and I said, look, I think this is an amazing market and we have to have something here to tell people the story of this Peloton bike. There was no community. I would get on my bike and I would look down the leaderboard and I would never see anybody from Germany at all. And so nobody was talking about it.
Yeah, that's insane. So was it just kind of luck that Peloton had decided to kind of move into the German community and market?
Well, I don't think it was luck. I think they were very strategic. They knew the type of environment and type of population they had in Germany. I mean, 80% of the people in Germany have a bike, and there's over 70 million people that ride a bike every day in Germany. So they knew what they were doing.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible. Because, over the my span of being part of the Peloton community, clearly you can hear from my accent, I'm not originally American. So I grew up in South Africa. That was where I was before I came to the States. Oh my goodness. I literally get a Facebook message or Instagram DM daily from friends and people that know me and that follow me on social media about bringing the bikes, to a market like South Africa. And as you know, Irene Irene Schultz had lived in Cape Town and in South Africa. And I even put it to her. I said, is that something that had ever been, communicated with Peloton, or are there other areas that they're looking at moving into? So it's interesting that Germany was one that, clearly has this huge health-oriented population and seemed like the right place. That's absolutely phenomenal. Wow, I had no idea. So let me ask you though, you said you came from DC, and as everybody knows, we all call ourselves that we come from DC. I live in Maryland, just around the corner. But how did you find the bike? I mean, how did you kind of get into the Peloton community back in the States before you left?
So it's actually a pretty interesting story. I became a new father, and like I told you before, I'm an athlete. And when you become a new father, and your life totally changes. It's never going to be the same, which is actually good, but you have to adapt. And I had the hardest time adapting from going to the gym on a routine basis to not even being able to leave the house because I had to help my wife with the child, and the child needed my assistance. So there was just no outlet for me to be the athlete I needed to be. So I did a lot of research, looking at different types of exercise equipment or exercise regimes that are out there online. And I looked at Beachbody. That was one that was online, but it just wasn't enough. I didn't feel the competitiveness. So then I bumped into this environment this product called the Peloton, and read into the whole company, what it was all about, and was super excited on what they provided on the platform of a bicycle. So then I decided in December of 2017 that I needed help.
Yeah.
So I went to a Maryland mall and I purchased the bike right then and there, cash, everything, because I was like, this is going to be what I'm going to need in order to maintain my athleticism while I'm also taking care of my child.
That is phenomenal. I mean, I think that's absolutely, you've hit the nail on the head. I mean, that's exactly what we've been able to do, is bring it, into our home. And look at this. This is 3 years, pre-COVID, where we're now stuck, having to be in our homes. And you had the foresight to recognize this incredible product and what it can offer. And I don't think enough, a lot of people, as they watch me evolve in this Peloton world, think it's just a bike. And clearly, it's not just a bike. And I'm sure you've gotten, incredible exposure to the different platforms that Peloton, offers. So, how do you feel? I mean, what are the aspects of the platforms that you love the most, other than the riding?
So, I do love the strength exercises. They are very challenging, and you can find different levels from beginner level to intermediate to very hard. And I have to pick very hard. I need that. Being an athlete, being in the military, you have to push yourself to different limits to being above your peers. And so
Right.
the Peloton offers that.
Right. No, I mean, it's absolutely. But I think what I think is the most, I'm still kind of thinking about this fact that here you were, living in the States, and took your bike with you to a country that ultimately, created a community for you. How perfect. So tell me a little bit about what you like about the community, and share with us whether the German community is different to what you've seen in other communities. I'm assuming it's still smaller. What kind of, give me numbers and that type of thing.
So, I'll just talk about the States first. So in the United States, everyone is very kind, and they all understand that everyone is on a journey. And you can tell when you go onto those Peloton pages that everyone is trying to get somewhere with this bike, and it's all in a positive direction. And the instructors, they reinforce it, so it just keeps going, and you can't stop, which is great. In Germany, what I've noticed is actually the same thing, but they're a little more reserved because it's something new. Whereas Americans love to just spread the word. Share. Yeah, press share. But in Germany, they're a little more reserved. But once they feel comfortable, you see the same thing. You start seeing sharing. You start seeing advice. You start seeing compliments, encouragement, and all in their way of encouraging people to continue progressing for where they want to be and how they want to be in the future. So I think right now with the German community at this time, we're seeing fantastic results, that's positive results all the way around.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely, I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. So the Facebook page that you started was not, I think I mentioned at the beginning, it's an unofficial page. So there is obviously a German community page through Peloton. And then there's this kind of like the puck community in the UK that Mark, my co-host, had started back there. How many members do you have on your Facebook page at this point?
So currently we are at 750 members.
It's awesome.
which is fairly large compared to what I had expected at the beginning, because I just expected some folks may be interested, and we can talk about Peloton. I've had experience with it, and create a little small community. But it has exploded to 750 great members.
That's amazing. And do you have an amount of how many folks actually have bought Peloton bikes in Germany? Have you been given that statistic at all?
No, unfortunately not. But I can tell.
I'd be curious.
I am very curious too. But I can tell from my page that a lot of people are doing their research, then they're joining a group, which is like my page or the Peloton page, and once they see there's a positive outlook, there's compliments, there's a strong community, they're purchasing it. And they even tell you on the page when they post, they're like, I did my research, I went to the store, I couldn't hold it, I paid. I just bought it.
That's absolutely amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Well, look, our goal is to continue to grow the German community. And I think with having, Irene and Eric as German instructors there, it does provide that ability for folks to do a German, spoken ride. My understanding is that they're looking now at moving onto strength training as well, and possibly even tread once the tread, is released in Germany. So there'll be, more opportunities for folks that don't speak English and only speak German to be able to participate as well. But my understanding in Germany is that most folks do have some advantage in being able to speak English, correct? For the most part.
Yes, yeah. You're taught English here. My child currently is being taught at the kindergarten level English. So there's a lot of opportunities to learn and to know, and so a good mix is fantastic. So I think I see a lot of Peloton users using going on to the UK instructors and doing those rides and those exercises.
So Daniel, anything else you want to share with us about the community there?
Yes, one last thing. The German people are extremely athletic, competitive, and enjoy the outdoors. But they also need another platform to maintain that, especially during the winter time period. And so the Peloton is that platform, and you can tell that people want to continue that healthy lifestyle throughout the entire year. So 365 days of just riding, exercising, having a good time, and just seeing the results, all positive results.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So it's awesome that you have that there, and that folks can continue to become fit and healthy in this crazy world we're all living in. So good for that. That's awesome, Daniel. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to share a little bit about the community with us. That's fantastic. What I like to do to end off the show is we're going to do what we call a fun 60-second descending and recovery. I'll fire away questions to you and give you an opportunity to answer them. And let's see if you can do that in 60 seconds. How about that?
Okay.
I'm not going to give you anything too tricky. You should be fine.
I don't know.
All right. So, Daniel, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Bike or tread?
Bike.
Favorite instructor?
Eric.
High cadence or high resistance?
High resistance.
Early bird rider or night owl?
Early bird all the way.
Meditation or strength?
Strength.
Live or on-demand classes?
On demand.
Interesting. First class ever taken?
Jennifer Jacobs. Introduction class.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And craziest leaderboard name you've seen? That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. Toughest name or craziest name, probably cheese and beer. I'm like, why is cheese and beer?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you did great. So it's interesting, because I've certainly, having done these interviews with folks, and I always have fun, asking the questions, for you to have said resistance. So I struggle with my cadence, but love pushing my resistance. And what we've shared in this week's show is, having me gotten the new bike has been rather challenging. The resistance is significantly harder. So while I was able to push almost to 100 in resistance, I am just getting to 80. And it's frustrating, because you think that you're so strong, but I clearly wasn't strong enough. But cadence, I have always found to be hard. So I always love hearing what folks have to say. An early bird rider for me too. I love riding early in the morning, but I have to tell you, I'm better than funny to different people, are, what their experience is on the bike. So thank you for sharing that with us. So I know the most important question of my chat with you is, the viewers are going to want to know what your leaderboard name is so we can all follow you. So what's your leaderboard name?
So it's Deutschland Pelo.
Awesome.
So you got to spell Deutschland correct.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you're certainly going to get a lot of us now following you, so we can be as competitive as you are, and try and chase you on the leaderboard. I know I'm not going to be anywhere near where you are, so you'll have to scroll all the way down to the bottom now that my output isn't quite what it used to be.
Oh man, it's not about the speed; it's about the journey.
You're right. You are so right. It is so about the journey, and what a journey we've all been on, right? It's just been incredible. So with that, I would like to thank you so much for coming on. You've been an absolute pleasure. Keep spreading the word. Keep spreading the word in Germany, and hopefully we'll get many, many more folks watching our show and being engaged on all things wonderful that we share unofficially in our Peloton Pelo Buddy show. But thanks so much. I appreciate you being on.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thanks. Take care, Daniel.
You too.
It's time to celebrate our fans' milestones with Pelo Shouts.
As you wish. Nice work. Happy 5 today. Tomato Pig, happy 300.
Matthew JD, happy 350 today, brother. Chris M. Giles, great work.
Seglo 3, my lovely lady, 850 today. Come on. Amazing.
Blah Boy, happy 1,000 today. Give him Pel, happy 1,000. You get to, nice work.
Did you hit a milestone this week and get a shout out by your favorite instructor? Don't forget to let us know.
So that was a jam-packed week for news, Amanda, that's for sure. And I think the highlight for me was the news of the strength updates and Ben Alldis coming up and joining as an instructor.
Yep. And for me, it was certainly the interview with German community member Daniel Lopez-Bonaglia. I had such fun interviewing him. And as we said, we're excited to get the German community more involved in our Pelo Buddy TV episodes, and we hope to have them on the show in the future. So for you guys that are watching this, please remember to review us on whatever platform you're on. Take the time just to tell us what you think. Remember, this is for the community, by the community. And we want to make sure that we take care of you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your unofficial resource for everything Peloton. By the community, for the community. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.